A very warm welcome and good evening to you all. Thank you for joining us for the final episode of the Entrepreneurial Bootcamp series brought to you by Eastern Credit Union. My name is Jamal Lewis, Public Relations Officer at Eastern Credit Union, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to this session. As luck will have it, today, as we celebrate International Women's Day, we have with us Ms. Kimberly Kirton. Ms. Kirton is the Director and Chief Design Consultant at the Communications Architect Limited, a company which specializes in marketing communication services. Most of Kim's adult professional life has been spent with customer experience as her North Star. From her early days as a call center supervisor in 2005 to her position as a small business owner today, her love for connecting with people and involvement in projects that, simply put, bring joy to those on the receiving end is where she finds her own joy. So without further ado, I now turn you over to Ms. Kirton.
Hello, everyone. Jamal Lewis, thank you so much for your introduction. Good evening. I hope everybody is well and in good spirits. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us this afternoon, this evening. We all have breath, so we have to be grateful for that. I want to firstly thank Eastern Credit Union for inviting me to share with you guys this evening. It is really telling of a company, their ethos, their values, when they provide opportunities like these and experiences like these for their membership. And I am very happy to be here and to be a part of your entrepreneurial journey today. And hopefully I will leave you with some information that will be of great value to you and to your businesses. So attendees, thank you for joining us this evening. This is the final session of what I'm sure Eastern hopes, or I hope, has been an insightful four-part series, four-part boot camp for you. And today we are discussing customer service and the customer service transaction. So I will share my screen now. Hopefully it works. Everyone is seeing the screen. Let me know if you can. Yes, okay, perfect. Thank you guys. All right, so in this session today, we will define customer service. We will talk about why it is essential to have good customer service. We'll talk a little bit about modern day customer service, and in this area, we'll delve into the entry and the impact of digital media, which has propelled the voice of the consumer towards customer service and modern day customer service. And then finally, we will discuss the fundamentals of excellent customer service, which will be instrumental to each of you and the success of your businesses. But before we dive in, I wanted to get to know a little bit about you guys. Of course, we're here virtually, but if you can type in the comment box, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me your profession. Tell me what you do. Do we have any small business owners? Do we have mostly solopreneurs, which is of course a one-man show, chief cook and bottle washer? Do we have any persons actually thinking about getting into business? Or people who are already in business? Anybody thinking about turning a side hustle into a full-time hustle? Okay. Thinking deeply, Kester. Okay, got you. Hi, Shanice. Okay, wonderful. All right, and so if you guys wouldn't mind, tell me what area is your business in? Like, are you providing services, maybe hair, nails, skin, anything service-wise? Do you provide products, maybe food, clothing, apparel? Okay. All right. Food. Okay, wonderful. All right. Services IT. Okay, perfect. Wonderful. And well, it is my pleasure to meet you guys today. Coconut-based products, very nice. Okay. It is my pleasure to meet you guys today. And I wanted to tell you very, very quickly a little bit about me so that we get some context, right? Stationery and school supplies, plumbing. Ooh, you do a lot, Deborah. Very nice. So just very, very quickly, my name is Kimberly, as Jamal would have indicated earlier, but everybody calls me Kim, so please feel free to call me Kim. I am a solopreneur. I saw that somebody commented that they are also solo. I am the founder and the CEO, chief design consultant, chief cook and bottle washer at the Communications Architect Limited, a company which specializes in marketing and communication services, which customer service, of course, plays a huge role in. In fact, most of my professional life has been built around ensuring the customer's experience is as ideal as it could possibly be. And it is my mission to delight the customer through service. It always has been. The customer for me, as Jamal mentioned, is the North Star and will always be the North Star. And by that I mean they are the factor that directs all other factors. Every business decision, every business action, every strategy, in my view, must be made with your customer at the heart of it. The customer is truly king or queen. Happy International Women's Day to all the women tuned in today. So my first hurrah into the world of service was during a vacation from school. You know, you'd find a job during your vacation from school. And I was a customer service attendant at a store called Lover Body. And it was a very small 8x8, real small operation, I'm telling you. A variety store on the Diego Martin Main Road in Trinidad. And my beloved grandmother, she nailed that job for me. She landed that job for me because, of course, the owner was her friend. I was still in secondary school, and that was somewhere between 1999 and maybe like around 2001. But, you know, I felt like a big woman because I was responsible for opening up the shop and attending to customers and suggesting different scents for them and or whatever they were looking for on that day. And Linda, who was the shop owner, she may not obviously have known it at that time, but she gave me my very first stint and very first taste of entrepreneurism. And she is perhaps my first teacher of what good customer service means, because it was at Lover Body that I saw that there's a very, very direct relationship between good customer service and customer loyalty. And we will get into that later on. All right. After my stint at Lover Body during the summer holidays, I landed a job at Cache. I'm sure, do you all know Cache? It's a clothing store in Port of Spain on Prince Street. And my love for service grew even more there. And I was able to see again how the service I gave directly impacted whether a customer would return the following weekend and the following weekend after that to get their weekend kit to go out. So it really was, you know, an interesting experience, and it was eye-opening really for me. After that, after secondary school, I applied for a job at Clico, and there I was a call center representative and quickly became the call center supervisor because I think that the superiors saw the passion that I had for ensuring that a customer was in a better place after they came off the call with us. And now today, I am, as I said, a one-woman show. Consultancy. I own a consultancy that focuses on delighting my clients through the power of words that are centered around customer service. My love for connecting with people and involvement in projects that bring joy to people is, as Jamal said, where I find my own joy. So I have worked with many clients from corporate to entertainment and everything in between. So I wonder if you guys can name a few of the brands here that I would have worked with marketing, comms, and customer service wise. Can you all name number 9 or number 5 or any number? Yes, Scotia, yes. Very nice. Oh, you're all on top of it, boy. So these brands are clearly doing a good job in terms of marketing comms. Where we are today, because I wanted you to understand that it is very, very possible to become an entrepreneur, right? It is very possible for you to own and operate a business. And this of course is a message for those who are still thinking about it. It is very possible, and it is possible for you to do it successfully, because of course success is measured and determined by you. It is what you decide are the metrics for success. Ooh, Jamal, you know plenty, boy. Success is our measure. So success for some people may mean having a certain amount of money in the bank at the end of the day. And then for some other people, it might mean driving a certain type of car, you know, it might mean having a family. But whatever success means for you, I want for you guys, and I hope after these 4 sessions that you will be able to determine that and to strive for it and to know that it is possible. Because I feel that that is really the resounding message from ECU and from this bootcamp. And because I believe they want to expose you to that, to this reality. So I hope that after these sessions, you guys will be gung-ho and step into the fire. All right. So let us get into customer service finally, what it is, and how having good customer service in your business can help you, can lead to the financial freedom that we all so lovingly desire. So what is customer service? A simple Google search will return hundreds, thousands of results, everything from the phases of service to tips, to how to provide better service, the do's and don'ts of customer service. But what does it really mean? What is the definition of customer service? And I think that perhaps a good place to start in defining what customer service is, maybe to highlight what it is not. And so for a brief moment, allow me to get a little bit real and to speak from us here, a Caribbean perspective. We, of course, have a well-known history of enslavement, and it becomes important that as Trinbagonians, we are aware of our disposition. We have a disposition to view customer service from a place more of servitude. I have to do this, instead of a place of appreciation and a desire to actually want to serve. I get to do this instead of I have to do this. So servitude is about the perception that one doesn't have a choice and that you're obliged to do something. You're obliged to serve. And it's easy for the Caribbean man and woman to think this way because of our history. But as Bob Marley has encouraged us to do, we have to emancipate ourselves. We have to get out of that mental slavery and come to the understanding that true service is really about a free and an intentional choice from us to help support and give aid to other people. In today's world, when we are of service, we choose to be of service. It's a choice and it's not servitude. Let me know if y'all felt me on that little tangent that I went off onto there. So what is customer service? So a basic definition at the very, very basic level. Customer service is the organization's ability to satisfy its customers' wants and needs. So for example, I'm a street food vendor and I provide wings and chips on the Boko stretch between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. I would be able to satisfy my customers for the late night want of a meal. And at that time, I am giving them what they want. I'm satisfying their wants and their needs, right? But what about even before the customer gets to my doorstep to taste my hand? Does customer service exist before that? Does it exist before the actual process of serving the food? Do you all think it exists before that? Or do you think that customer service is, for example, the just serving food, just the serving of the food? Yes, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. And yes, Deborah, Lisa, Melanie, you all are right. Customer service starts even before that transaction. Yeah, it starts before that transaction phase. So another, maybe a better amped up definition would be that customer service is an organization's ability to satisfy both prospective and existing customers' wants and needs. So let's delve in a little bit further. If we are saying that customer service exists before I have the opportunity to actually serve you, to actually serve the customer, then that tells us that there are phases of customer service, and that customer service in itself is a process, and a dynamic process at that. So many people, and I said it before, have the perception that customer service is very transactional. It's taking a customer's order and providing a meal, or receiving a customer's complaint, a customer call, an email, responding to it. And these are, of course, all part of it. They're all part of the process, but there is a lot more going on behind the complaint box or the order box. Yeah. So let us talk now about the phases of customer service. There are three. Now, there are more than three. But I did my best to just try to make this as simple and effective as possible for you guys. So we go in broad here, we go in macro, and we're saying that there are generally three phases of customer service, right? So the first phase, pre-contact phase, the second, contact, the third, post-contact. So of course, those I think are pretty self-explanatory, but of course we're gonna delve a little bit further into it, right? And of course, guys, don't forget that after the session we'll be going for about an hour and a half, and then we're gonna have questions. So make sure to put your questions in the question box or even in the chat if you want to. All right. So the first phase of customer service, of the customer service process, pre-contact. All right. So customer service, as we said, starts long before we already determined that. It starts long before customers have made their decision to purchase. It starts before they ask you a question. It starts long before all of that, right? Customer service starts during pre-contact with your potential customer. So at this point, they're not yet your customer. They're a consumer. They're somebody who buys goods and services, but they're not yet your customer, right? So customer service starts in that pre-contact phase with their awareness of you, with their awareness of who you are, with their awareness of the products you offer, the services. Have they heard about you? That is where the customer service process begins. So what have they heard about you? What do they think about you based on what they've heard? Do they like you? Do they like your brand personality? Do they like the marketing assets and collateral that you've put out there about yourself? Your website, your online availability, your social media presence, your branding? Do they like it? Do they know about it? Do they know about you? So that's the first part of customer service, right? And then within that, just after their awareness of you, it continues with their perception of you, what they think about you. And of course, perceptions are formed in numerous ways, but we know what the main way is. One of the main ways that we develop a perception about something, right? Perceptions, how many of you, let me ask a question. How many of you have formed a perception about a company based on its website maybe, or based on the images they use in their advertisements? How many, for example, Republic Bank, their workers dress very smartly. They provide them with these very smart uniforms. How many of us have a perception of Republic Bank and think that the level of service that we ought to get from them should be at a certain standard because of what we've seen about them? How many of y'all? Anybody developing perceptions based on what you've seen? Yeah. So, perceptions are created in this way by what you, the business owner, puts out into the atmosphere, let's call it, right? But we also know there's another way that perceptions can be created, and that is through word of mouth. So have you ever decided whether or not you wanted to do business with a company based on the experience of a friend or a colleague? A colleague shared an experience with you. You've not done business with the company, but they shared their experience with you, whether good or bad, and it made you either want to do business with them or don't want to do business with them at all. Right. So we know then that this in itself shows how important customer service is, because the customer service experience of one customer can influence a consumer's desire to want to do business with you, right? And all of this happens in the pre-contact phase. That's the first phase of the customer service process. You all with me, right? I hope you're with me. So at this point, you might be asking yourself, how can I put my best foot forward in the pre-contact stage of my business to ensure that, you know, customers are aware of me, that they want to do business with me, that they like me, that type of thing. So that in itself is a whole lesson in marketing and communications. So we're not here for that today. We are here for customer service today, but I will give some just very basic things that you could hold on to. You could screenshot this page, and the lecture will be available afterwards for you guys. But in order in this pre-contact phase to put your best foot forward, these are the tips that I am suggesting. All right. So you want to develop an attractive look and feel and personality for your company. And of course, it needs to suit your consumers. It needs to suit your target market. It needs to appeal to them, to those people that you are targeting, right? And once you have determined that, for example, if you're a shoe salesman, it goes without saying that you're not gonna put a luxury vehicle in your logo and you're selling shoes, right? And Terry would have spoken about this in terms of, she would have touched on it in her social media lecture on Friday, right? So once you've determined that look and feel and that personality and so on, be consistent, maintain it, and whether it be wherever you are visible to the customer, whether that is on social media or if it's on your website. And Karen would have touched in the first session about whether you need a website to function in your business and that type of thing, right? So wherever you are, even in the traditional media space, if you do print advertisements, if you do radio advertisements, even your physical storefront, ensure that these areas are consistent with who you are portraying yourself to be, with your brand, with your personality, with your look and feel. And the third suggestion within this pre-contact phase is to define your USP. Now, I'm sure these are things that you guys are very familiar with. You would have heard these things before. Define your unique selling proposition, indicate what makes your business different from any others, what you do better than anybody else. These are all key questions, of course, to ask yourself, and be sure to clearly articulate these key features, these unique features, and the benefits of doing your business versus doing business with another entity, right? And then the fourth tip within this pre-contact stage is to be accessible, to make yourself available and as accessible as possible. Make it easy for potential customers to be able to reach out to you, all right? So we could delve a lot further in here, but I will leave you guys with these basics, all right? If you have questions, don't forget that you can put them in the question box. But just let me know, give me a thumbs up, give me a yes, give me a yeah, we good. If you're with me, if you're following along what we're doing, where we're going. Yeah. Now the second, thank you, Deborah, Melanie, Renee. The second part of the customer service process is the contact phase, right? And in this phase, we actually make contact with the customer. So some people see this phase as the most important one. It's the most important aspect of customer service to some people because it means it means the consumer has made an active decision, an active choice to choose to become your customer, right? So your focus in this stage, which is the contact phase, is to provide an excellent onboarding experience for your customer, all right? And so here's some actionable steps that you can take to maximize the contact phase and to provide the very best possible service experience for your customers. The first suggestion is to personalize their experience. Get to know them, address them by name, refer to their history. Oh, Marcia, the curling custard that you like so much is back in stock. You know, simple personalized gestures will go a very long way in making your customers feel that they have an authentic connection with you, and it will make them feel valued. So even something as simple as an email, a personalized email. Hey, Susan. Hey, Patrick. That provides a level of connection, and it makes people feel as though you care about them. How many of you guys have opened an email because it said, hi, Alyssa, or hi, Kester? You know, you open it just to see what's inside of there because, hey, they're addressing me by my name, you know? So that is the first suggestion for the contact phase within the customer service experience, to maximize that phase. The second tip is to empathize, all right? Throughout the entire contact phase, you need to showcase a level of understanding for your customers. That is essential and above all. A customer is likely to become a repeat customer, and a repeat customer will then become a loyal customer if your company is empathetic and understanding of their needs at any moment, right? The third tip communicate with them. Communicate with them clearly and respectfully. Use simple language. Don't use jargon. Don't, if a customer has a question, tell them, well, the SLPs and the PUKs say that you should keep it simple. They're not going to know what you're talking about. So be clear with them, be respectful, of course, and this will go a very long way. All right. Remember, don't jargon up the interaction with them, because they will feel disconnected from you, because it will say to them that you don't understand who you're talking to. Yeah. And then the fourth point, or the fourth tip, is like in the pre-contact phase, you need to be accessible within this contact phase as well. Make yourself available, make yourself accessible, make it easy for potential customers to do business with you. All right. Again, now guys, these are just fundamentals. Many more factors are applicable here, but today we are highlighting the basics that everybody needs to master. All right. So we are rolling now into the post-contact phase, which is the third part, or the third phase of customer service. All right. And so post-contact is, of course, as the name says, after the actual interaction, after you've gone and purchased the food, after you've bought the shoe from the store, after the social media specialist has delivered the plan for you for the month. All right. The post-contact phase of customer service is about forming lasting relationships. It's about creating loyal customers, and it's, as a result, about setting up yourself and your business for success well into the future. Many people say that this is the ultimate goal of customer service, moving a customer from customer to repeat customer to loyal customer. And that loyal customer then becomes an advocate for your brand and spreads the word about your goods and your services, right? So the post-contact phase is heavy on relationship building and heavy on maintenance. So a few actionable tips that you could incorporate within this phase to ensure the best possible results for your business are as follows. Ask for feedback. So when you ask for feedback, it shows sincerity and it shows transparency in your approach to customer service, right? Additionally, it will help you learn about your customers, about your own customer service process, and it will allow you to be able to make improvements where necessary. One other tip is to learn from your past. So this is, of course, targeted to people who are already in business. How have you held on to customers in the past? How have you lost some of them? What were some of the reasons that some customers have left you? What are some of the strategies that you've introduced that have allowed them to interact and engage with you in a positive manner? And all of these elements will help you, learning from your past will help you to create the future that you desire in terms of business success, right? What has been working? What hasn't been working? You, as the business owner, know very, very well what works for you and what isn't working in terms of your customers and your customer relationship. So if you are not yet in business, this is good information for you to know, because you'll know what to look out for. All right. So we move on now. So we just finished the 3 phases of customer service. Again, if you guys have any questions about those, make sure to put it in the questions box and we'll come back to it. And now we're going to move on to why good customer service is essential. So we all know that customer service is the lifeblood of any business. Let me not say that. Do you guys believe that customer service is the lifeblood of of a business? Tell me, just say yes or no, not really, something else is. But many people believe that good customer service is the lifeblood of any business, whether you're a big business or a small business, right? A company could offer promotions night and day. They could slash prices to bring in new customers at any point, right? But unless you can get some of those customers coming back to you, your business will not be profitable for very long. Yes, Shanice, without customers, there is definitely no business, right? So reason number one for why good customer service is essential. Good customer service is about bringing customers back. It's about sending them away happy, so they leave your business place or they leave your transaction very happy, and so happy that they pass on positive feedback about your business to others. And then those others want to try your product or service to see for themselves if your business is as good as Susan has said, right? And in turn, they then become repeat customers. So customer loyalty is crucial to small businesses and crucial to our bottom line, all right? Good customer service is the prime driver of customer loyalty. So on average, loyal customers are worth up to 10 times as much as their first purchase. So it means that we really need to be paying emphasis. I'm not saying not to seek out new customers, but I'm saying to pay some attention to those customers that you already have. All right. So reason number two as to why good customer service is essential, especially for small businesses, it saves your company money. Because now this is of course a US statistic. We don't have these stats in the Caribbean. But according to a US-based study in the Harvard Business Review, acquiring a new customer is anywhere from 5 to 25 times more expensive than retaining an existing one. So that means that you could spend anywhere between 5 to 25 times the amount it would take you to just maintain a customer that you already have, right? It will take you 5 to 25 times more money in marketing and whatever, in sales pitches and that kind of thing to get a new customer when you already have a customer with you. Yeah. So it means that we should be expending a great amount of effort on retaining the customers that we already have, because it will cost us less to do so in the long run, right? So reason number three now, why good customer service is essential for small businesses. It is essential because providing top-notch customer service is one of the few ways that smaller businesses can compete with larger retailers. And this is where owners of small stores and smaller stores have a big advantage over bigger stores, all right? Because you can actually make a personal connection with your customers. So customer service needs to be integral to the small business, because that is in itself a competitive edge that you have over larger stores. And the fourth reason that good customer service is essential, especially for small businesses, leads us to our discussion on modern day customer service, right? Because of the rise of the digital age. Yeah. So in the past, you may have had a less than favorable experience with a company, and the only person that knew about it might have been you and maybe your sister, your brother, your cousin, your husband, your wife, right? And maybe the company too, because you might have complained to them. But in today's world, we know that that's much different now, right? The rise of social media, with the rise of social media, long gone are the days of keeping a service experience that has gone bad, quiet, right? So Google, online reviews, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, even TikTok. People can make TikToks about a bad service experience. These are all now social media channels that are used not only for businesses to connect with their customers, which is something Terry would have spoken about on Friday, but it is also a way for those customers to provide feedback, very deliberate feedback, very direct feedback on the product or service to you, but not only to you, but to the rest of the world as well, right? So the ease of dissemination of an experience from a dissatisfied customer makes the stakes very, very high for businesses in general, but especially for small businesses, right? Customers judge. I know me personally, I do judge the service delivery of every single business that I deal with, right? And unfortunately, customers are more likely to share bad ratings with people than good ratings, with other people than good ratings, right? Businesses in general, but small businesses especially, cannot survive long-term bad press or bad reviews. Even a single bad customer service review online can drive away new potential customers. Tell me something. How many of you look at the reviews on Amazon if you're purchasing from Amazon, if you purchase from Amazon? How many of you look at the reviews before, like you have to look at the reviews before you put it in your cart and you check out? Say yes. Right? So, and the thing is, like I'm speaking from personal experience here, right? Even one single bad review out of maybe 10, out of 10, 9 of them good, and one of them said, oh, well, it fit me a little tight. And that gets you thinking, right? It kind of throws you off. So we see how important um, customer service is and how easy it is in this new digital age to share reviews and share experiences. So you need to be even more on top of your game, in other words. Sometimes I wish I could go back to the past. So what exactly happens after somebody has a poor customer experience? Again, we go into the US, but I believe that it could be applicable to us here in TNT, right? So according to a variety of studies, companies lose more than 62 billion. These are, of course, large companies, right? $62 billion annually due to poor customer service. And 7 out of 10 consumers say that they've spent more money to do business with a company that delivers great service. So customers prefer to spend more money to do business with a company that they know they're going to get great service from. 78% of customers cancel a transaction or intended purchase after a poor customer service experience. And that is from a American Express credit card survey, right? 96% of customers don't bother to complain to the business, and 91% just never come back. Yeah. I know for me, a lot of the times, I wouldn't even bother to say anything. I just wouldn't go back. Do you all do that? Do you all usually voice your opinions, or does it depend on what the situation is? For me, as I said, I would just be like, okay, yeah, it depends. I would just be like, yeah, I'm keeping it pressing. I'm pressing, right? So, and here's another interesting one. Dissatisfied customers will tell, we talked about this a little earlier, Dissatisfied customers will tell between 9 to 15 people about their experience, and about 13% of dissatisfied customers tell more than 20 people about their poor experience. And on the other hand, happy customers who have their issues resolved tell only between 4 and 6 people about that experience. So we see very clearly that there are smaller numbers who talk about good experiences over the bad ones. So that is a really important point for you guys to note, right? I think we all know that. We all know that, right? So what can we do? What can we do to ensure that we don't fall into these statistics, and that we fall into the good statistics? Well, a few actionable tips that we could take, right? The first one is begin with the end in mind. So I know that that is a very a known saying, right? The end goal of any transaction for you should be a satisfied customer. And that satisfied customer should become a repeat customer. And that repeat customer should become a loyal customer. And then that loyal customer becomes an advocate for your brand, for your product, for your service, right? And that person leads others to try and want to see what you have to offer. And ultimately, those people who decide to try will become loyal customers themselves and advocates themselves. So that is the cycle and the aim, the whole mission of this whole customer service journey, right? So begin with that end in mind, that is your North Star. That is what you are aiming to achieve. If you understand this to be your goal, right? And you're beginning with this end in mind, what would you do? So for me, right? If I sold punch on a Sunday, on a Sunday at Sunday school, right? This is pre-COVID when Sunday school was popping. In the pre-contact phase, this is before we make contact with the customer, this is the kind of awareness phase, right? I would create a brand look and feel that is like fun and refreshing, and when you see it, you feel vibrant, you know, because yeah, then you're gonna want to drink my punch, right? And I would likely head straight to social media. In Karen's lecture, he talked about how social media is, of course, the easiest thing to get onto, the easiest way. I mean, there are different places that you can sell your products, marketplaces, and all those types of things. But social media is the easiest, most accessible. It's free for anybody to get onto, right? So I would get onto it, right? I would get onto social media, and I would try to hook some first-time customers with a buy one, get one offer, right? Come and buy a punch and you'll get one for free for your friend, right? And when they come and buy the punch, I would offer them a stamp on a card that I would create for them, a customer loyalty card, which they will receive a stamp immediately because they've made a purchase, right? And then on their 10th purchase, they get a free punch again, right? So when they're returning now, for either the second purchase or the third purchase or whatnot, I would acknowledge them by name, and I would know their name because their name would be on the little loyalty card that I gave them, right? And then I would casually ask them, you enjoy the last one? Well, it had to be because you come back, right? If they have the same flavor, I would ask them if there's anything they would like me to change, if they want me to add a little more ginger or they want me to add a little more cinnamon, you know? So in this way, like we spoke about earlier, I'm personalizing the experience. I'm empathizing with them. I'm making it easy for them to have access to me. I'm asking them for feedback. So all in all, begin with the end in mind, and the end result is a satisfied, returning customer, a loyal customer, right? You all with me, right? Okay. as business owners or as people thinking about getting into business, the second most important fundamental for excellent customer service delivery is to set customer service standards. One second. So what does that mean? Employees, if you have employees and customers alike, both need to know what to expect from your company. The customer needs to know what your company or your business is willing to do for them, and the employee needs to know how you expect them to provide your products and services to the customer. So write that down, lay it out, lay out what your company considers to be acceptable customer service standards, and ensure that if you have employees, they are on board with it and they understand it. All right? That's the second thing that you should do. The third thing that you should do to ensure that you always provide excellent customer service is to know your customer. Maybe that should have been the first one. Okay, let's say that this list is not in any particular order. Get to know as much about your customer as possible, because that way you can tailor and personalize the experience to levels that larger companies can't. Yeah. And at the end of the day, as humans, we want connection. We are made for connection. And if you are able to establish a real connection with your customers, they are going to return for more. So know your customer. Make an effort to get to know them. All right. Deliver service. I think my computer is not. Okay, so that was know your customer. Sorry about that. Computer is not complying. Number 4, deliver service where and when your customer needs it. All right. A quality customer experience isn't only about being accessible by the channels that you choose to be accessible on. Instead, customers expect service to be available through the channels that they themselves use. And Terry on Friday would have touched on this in her presentation as well. You have to be present in the places and spaces that your customers are. You have to meet your customers where they are. If you're selling funky sneakers and accessories for young girls, young boys, young teenagers, you shouldn't be selling that on LinkedIn, right? And if you are in the business of nails, Twitter might not be the best platform for you to showcase your skills and to show pictures of the things that you could do, of all the cool designs that you could do on nails. And for instance, if you own a preschool, right? Maybe you should consider a presence, meeting customers, your customers where they are. Consider a presence maybe on radio during drive time when parents are on their commute to work, so that they could hear about your preschool, about the services that you offer, or maybe even tips that you're offering in terms of learning from home and that type of thing. The point is, meet your customers where they are, all right? And the fifth tip, the fifth fundamental of excellent customer service is to solve problems and to solve them quickly. Customer problems are really a great opportunity. Look at it as a great opportunity to create a loyal customer. All right. Be attentive and be quick with them to not only understand what they need, but to also solve their problem. So I will share a recent personal experience with you guys, right? I posted on my IG story, my Instagram story, maybe a week or two ago. I was looking for somebody to braid my hair in a particular style, the style. I got about 10 responses from people suggesting different places that I could go and that kind of thing, right? Some of the responses were repeats. So like a couple of people, like maybe 3 people suggested the same person, and then 2 more suggested this other person. So I contacted 2 braiders based on the responses I got from Instagram, right? These braiders, their styles were similar, their price was similar. The only major difference between them was their location. One of them was in the West, in Port of Spain area, which is where I'm from. And then the other one operated out of Trin City. But guess what? The person operating out of Trin City got back to me faster than the one operating out of Port of Spain. So guess who did my hair? And guess who I would likely go back to? Yeah. So it may not always be possible, but do your utmost best to solve the problem and solve it as quickly as you can, right? And I hope you'll notice my little inclusion there of Kellyanne being quick. So the 6th fundamental of excellent customer service is to communicate. Your customer may have a problem or question, and maybe you don't yet have an answer for them, and maybe you are in the background working on getting an answer for them and being able to tell them what you need them to do, what they should do, etc. But they don't know that. They, for all they know, you haven't even seen their message, or you haven't, you not on them, in other words, right? So communicate that, you know. Tell them if you don't yet have the answer, but don't leave them wondering if their message was even received. Let them know that you're working on getting an answer to them as a top priority, and that as soon as you have one, you'll be in touch with them. All right? You all with me, right? The 7th fundamental of excellent customer service, I hope you guys are with me, is to invest in training. Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys. Invest in training is your 7th fundamental of customer service delivery, right? If for right now you are the sole service agent, like me, you are the sole service agent for your company, or your would-be company, the company that you're thinking about creating, right? Be the best possible service agent that you could possibly be, using some of these tips that I would have shared with you here today, right? So that when the time comes and you are able to expand and you're able to hire staff, your example will be a form of indirect training for them. If you are already at a point where you have staff, begging you to consider investing in customer service training for them. Because you may or may not agree with me, I believe that for the most part, people mean well, right? But just like it took us training and practice to learn, for example, how to tie our shoes as kids, it will take the same type of training, the same level of learning, the same type of practice for someone to learn how to perform well in customer service. All right? Employees who are dealing with customers need to do more than just be friendly if they are to deliver good customer service. Enthusiasm and a smile and, you know, a great energy is a good start, and of course essential as well. But effective customer service training has to be reinforced and taught on a recurring basis. All right? Yes, that's right, Shanice. Not necessarily inherent at all. So it is something that needs to be taught. Yeah. The 8th fundamental of excellent customer service delivery is to define your systems and your processes. The author of 10 tips for effective customer service says, that's a book, right? Her name is Liz Tahir, if you guys want to go and look for it. 10 tips for effective customer service is the name of the book. She says that there's no way that the quality of customer service can exceed the quality of the people who provide it. I was like, wow, but this is very true. There's absolutely no way that the quality of the customer service can exceed the quality of the people who provide it. Your business, your small business needs to have the resources in place to provide the kind of customer service that will meet or exceed customers' expectations. Whether those resources are frontline counter staff, or an efficient distribution system that will get your product from one place to another and delivered to the customer on time. Define these systems, define these processes so that you can exceed what the customer expects of you, right? The 9th fundamental of excellent customer service delivery is to make your employee your first customer. Nobody wants to be served by a grumpy Jane. Unhappy employees will never create happy customers. If your employee comes to work and they're upset, they're not happy, they don't like working at your organization, they're just not happy, they are not going to leave your customers happy. Think about it, right? So an unhappy employee will never create a happy customer. So keep your employees happy, because when they are happy, they will look forward to work. They will look forward to working with you, to come into work. And because they feel valued and because they feel appreciated, they will pass that on to the customers. Yeah. The 10th, and this is the second to last, fundamental for excellent customer service delivery, is to create a customer loyalty program. So remember, I was telling you all that if it was me, I would have, and I was selling my punch, I would have created a little card and, you know, given people the opportunity to come back each time and get a stamp, and on the 10th time you get a free punch. Create a customer service loyalty program. Yeah, customer loyalty programs can help create loyal customers, and it can also help you gain new customers. Studies have found that, for instance, you know, those restaurant loyalty reward programs, those rewardees are twice as likely to refer a new customer immediately following a redemption. So that means that after, for instance, I know Peter Pitt does a reward system. So that means after I get that free pizza from Peter Pitt, it's likely that I might be like, hey, Peter Pitt tastes real good, boy. Should buy one. I am twice as likely to tell my friend about how great Peter Pitt's food is, right? Successful loyalty programs can also boost your small business's bottom line because they provide motivation for loyal repeat customers to buy more. So the same example with the punch, I will want to go and buy a punch every other day because I know that my free punch coming. Yeah. And the final fundamental of excellent customer service delivery is to ensure that you assess your customer service regularly and that you improve based on your findings and as needed, right? Customer feedback is absolutely a critical tool for improving customer service and for advancing customer loyalty. And remember, we talked about beginning with the end in mind, and the end that we really trying to reach here is a satisfied customer who becomes a repeat customer, who becomes a loyal customer, who becomes an advocate for your company, and who tells the world about the brilliant services and products that you are offering, and who encourages other people to try your products and services. And then the cycle continues with those people who try as well, right? So customer feedback, as I said, is a critical tool for improving your internal customer service. and for advancing that customer loyalty. When customers are given the opportunity to actually tell you what they like or what they don't like about your products and services, whether that's in person, whether it's by email, by phone, by social media, you have the opportunity to serve them better and to convert them from a one-time customer to a loyal advocate. So feedback helps us identify consistent issues so that you can work on them. Yeah, does that make sense? Okay, so we are almost wrapping up. We talked about a whole lot today, and we could have talked about so much more, but in order to keep it tight and to keep it to the fundamentals that we would want to master, this is what I decided to present to you guys today, right? You can of course reach out to me afterwards if you want to know more, you want to learn more, you want to talk a little bit more about other things. And I want to leave you with this video, a TEDx presentation. It's from 2018. But let me know if it resonates with you guys, if it drives home the customer service story. It is just about, I think, 8 minutes long, and I hope you'd be able to hear it properly. Let's see.
You're going full speed ahead towards your goals, yet somewhere deep inside, you're not
How many of you have experienced an exceptional customer experience? An over-the-top experience at a business, maybe a local restaurant, a clothing retailer, your favorite coffee shop, maybe that last hotel or restaurant that you stayed at, resort. Maybe it was the last family vacation you took to Walt Disney World. So exceptional that you might have taken a selfie and posted it on social media. Now, I know no one here takes selfies, and certainly no one here posts on social media, but I do. So great. Like me, many of you have experienced exceptional customer service that turned you from a casual shopper to a brand loyal ambassador. So why is it that each year, roughly 1 million businesses go out of business? Is it because of Walmart's aggressive low pricing? Maybe. Could it be Amazon or another online retailer's aggressive free shipping program? Perhaps. Is it just that the competitor was that much better at their marketing and sales techniques? Or are all these just excuses and the real answer lies in delivering exceptional customer experiences each and every day? I have been fascinated by business and why some succeed and others fail. And my career has given me the opportunity to visit literally over 1,000 businesses and meet hundreds of executives and entrepreneurs. And the ones that stand out are the ones that truly focus on delivering exceptional customer experiences to their clients. Just like that experience some of you thought about a minute or two ago. I want to share a personal story with you about how I was seduced by exceptional customer experience 21 years ago. I met Ruth, the owner of 1010 Optics, while working in New York City just off of Fifth Avenue. I didn't find Ruth's store because of a giant sign outside that said 20% off. And it wasn't because of a newspaper ad she had placed in the paper. And it certainly wasn't because of a Google search I did or email blast that she sent, because neither of those options existed in 1996. No, I found Ruth's store for a very simple reason that day: convenience. What's kept me coming back for over 20 years is how she treated me on that first visit, and frankly, every visit since. On that first visit, I entered the store and was immediately greeted by an associate who walked me over and introduced me to Ruth. Ruth politely asked what brought me in that day, and like most individuals that have terrible eyesight, I said, I'm simply here to get a pair of glasses so I can see and do my work. She smiled and laughed. And she said, no, I mean, what style of look are you going for? What's the look you're going for? I never really thought about a look or a style with wearing glasses. They were very functional to me. So I said, well, maybe something like Michael J. Fox, wireframe. She said, I'll take it from here. She then proceeded to have me try on glasses that were anything but Michael J. Fox wireframe-like. After about 15 minutes, she laid out 3 pairs of frames. She says, John, these are the frames you're going to decide on today. Option 1 is somewhat boring, ordinary, similar to what you were wearing when you walked in today. Option 2 is a little nicer, and option 3 is the game changer. Now, most likely, you're going to want option 1, and she was absolutely right. I had already started to take out my wallet to pay for them. But she said, today, I'm going to sell you option number 3 because it's the right option. I reluctantly purchased those glasses that day, and 2 weeks later walked out with my new frames. Incredibly self-conscious. Had I made the right decision? Did Ruth honestly sell me the best pair of frames for my face and personality? Or did she sell me the frames that were going to generate the highest profit for her store? A few seconds later, a woman walked up to me, total stranger, and she said, wow, I love those frames. Ruth is good. She literally had somebody waiting outside the store to compliment customers as they walked out. Well done. It wasn't until I received the 5th compliment on my commute home that day that I realized that Ruth was truly a genius and had delivered an exceptional customer experience. And by the way, my wife, Cynthia, absolutely loved them. Customer experience isn't about necessarily the product or service that you offer. It's about how you make someone feel during the buying journey and, frankly, after the purchase has been made. Maya Angelou said it best. They may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And Ruth made me feel excited, nervous, confident, and important all at the same time. She had truly delivered on her promise of delivering exceptional customer service. So 21 years later, I continue to receive compliments on my glasses. In fact, someone outside before the TED Talk, his name was Ted, actually, said he loved my frames. And 20 years plus later, I still go to Ruth, even though I have to travel 3 hours each way to get to her location in New York, take a personal vacation day to make an appointment during the week. Okay. What's more ironic is there are literally 100 optic centers that are closer and online options that are more convenient and certainly less expensive. The answer is simple, and it's why so many other businesses that focus on exceptional customer service do so well, like Mitchell's of Westport, that opened their doors in 1958. They are a men's and women's clothing store in Westport, Connecticut. Wazek's Cheese Shop in Wellesley, Massachusetts, that opened their doors in 1964. And as you can guess, purveyors of fine cheeses, as well as wines and other gourmet items. And my favorite Jewish deli in Ann Arbor, Michigan, that opened their doors in 1982, Zingerman's in Ann Arbor, Michigan, that is absolutely spectacular. And again, 1982. Now, these businesses don't just survive, they thrive. And it's not because I can buy clothing at Mitchell's that no one else carries, or that I can get cheeses at the lowest price at Wazek's Cheese Shop, or that I can order a pastrami on rye with or without mustard at Zingerman's. No, the answer is simple. It's what they all have in common. They all focus on delivering exceptional customer experiences each and every day. It's what keeps the barrier between them and their competitors. Delivering customer experience isn't just good for the customer, by the way. It's actually good business. And Forrester Research did a study over a 5-year period. And in 2016, they published this paper. And what they found was companies that truly focus on exceptional experiences for customers outperform the leaders, outperform the laggers in customer experience significantly in revenue. So it's not just good for customers, it's just good business to have excellent customer service. So as we look forward, technology, marketing techniques, and sales channels will continue to evolve and continue to push these businesses, as well as Ruth's, and maybe yours someday. But as long as they stay true to their core principles of delivering exceptional customer service, I am confident I'm going to be able to buy really nice clothing, enjoy the finest of cheeses, and order a pastrami on rye, extra mustard, all while wearing the perfect pair of frames. I was seduced by exceptional customer experience, and I couldn't be happier. Thank you.
I wanted to learn somewhere where I could go anywhere.
Okay. Guys, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right. So tell me, did that video resonate? Did it drive the whole shebang that we spoke about today home? Did it make you think about some of the experiences that you've had, the exceptional customer service experiences that you have had? Yeah. Perfect. All right. And maybe tell me, can you think of, off the top of your head, a company that in your head has provided excellent customer service to you, a company that you look up to, that you strive to kind of be like? Are there any companies like that? Could be local, could be foreign, if when you're visiting a foreign land. No company standing out? All right, well, you guys can think about that. So now, oh, Victoria's Secret. UTC, very nice. Very good. So now we are going to move on to, ooh, Walmart is a big one. We will move on to our question and answer segment. I don't know if you guys put in any questions into the box or if you were putting them into the chat. If you have any questions, was I so crystal clear? Eastern Credit Union? Was I so crystal clear that you guys don't have any questions? Is there anything at all I can answer for you? I think that I was very clear. Anything, guys, anything. It could be simplest thing. Where do you recommend customer service training? Well, Kester, to be honest with you, in TNT, I think that it is very few and far between, unfortunately. I have a friend who actually today was just asking about where she can send staff to, let me stop sharing the screen, where she could send staff to be trained. And it's unfortunately very few and far between. Perhaps that could be another another business venture that I get into. When I do, I will link up with you. How do you demonstrate customer service when you're predominantly an online business? This is from Charlene. Charlene, that's a really great question. I think that with the way of the world now, as we talked about the whole digital age, everything is online. And even with the pandemic, I think, especially in TNT, we have now been forced to kind of get with the program and to convert a lot of different things that we have had essentially thought or pretended was not possible, has now converted to online, and we are seeing that it's very possible to conduct transactions and business online every single day. So customer service is no exception to that. I would assume that you are, of course, a small business owner. I don't know, Charlene, if you could put it in the chat, if you are a solopreneur, if you have a few employees, that type of thing. But of course, your customer service online needs to be impeccable. Wherever you are meeting your customers, because remember we spoke about meeting your customers where they are, wherever you are meeting your customers, ensure that you have a customer service outlet in that space. So if you're on Instagram, you're always checking your direct messages, you're always checking your requests outbox. If you're on Facebook, if you have an email list, you're always keeping in touch with your customers. You're including that unsubscribe link if they no longer want to hear from you. I don't want to say that it's easy, because it is not, but wherever you are meeting your customers online is where you need to demonstrate your ability to give them exceptional customer service. And exceptional customer service it no longer means being treated the way, for instance, you would want to be treated, the golden rule. It is treating the customer the way that they want to be treated. The customer is king or queen. How do you switch employees' mindset from I have to do this and to I want to do this, that the training take care of this? So yeah, so Shanice, we talked about that, and I'm assuming you're referring to that servitude versus service type of mindset. And as I said, as Caribbean people, I don't want to say that it is acceptable for us to think in that way, but it is understandable why we might think in that way, right? So the first point is to not become frustrated with them, not become upset with them, but to come from a place of understanding that that is a mental challenge that many of us have. Yeah. So customer service in and of itself has to, I believe, come from a place within, right? It takes a specific type of person with a specific type of personality to deliver good customer service. There are just some people who are just quite frankly, not meant to be in the customer service arena. And those that are not meant to be there, I'm not saying that they can't be trained, because they can. You can't teach people how to do it. And so, yes, that is where the training would come in, to switch that mindset from servitude to service, to a actual willingness and a longing to want to serve. What are the feedback mechanisms you recommend for small businesses that would be quick and easy to implement? Well, I don't know if you yet have, for instance, a mailing list. If you don't, I would suggest that you find a way to develop one. So for instance, if you are on Instagram or you're on Facebook, and I don't know if you have a product or a service or whatnot, but in either of those channels or whatever channel that you are on, perhaps you could try doing a sort of a poll in those areas, right? Facebook has polls, Instagram has polls, Twitter has polls. So it is very, very quick, literally extremely quick, right? You can go further, as I said, in terms of email. You can try to develop an email list. If you have one, send out a very quick email. However, when you're doing that, you have to be very careful and specific about the types of questions that you're asking. If you're asking open-ended questions, if you're asking qualitative versus quantitative type questions, and it's a sort of a science behind surveying. So you might want to seek out help in doing that, or maybe you might be very competent in doing it on your own. But those are some very quick ways that you could that you can get quick feedback. What type of customer loyalty program would you recommend for someone who has a wholesale food and beverage distribution business? Okay, well, you sell food, which would mean that your customers, your main customers would be, I guess, people who would be themselves selling food, food shop owners, even street vendors, that type of thing. The loyalty that is going to come from those types of vendors is not going to be something that you can create a card for and say, here, you get a free chicken on your 10th purchase. Or you might want to do that. However, the loyalty program or the loyalty that would come from these people is going to be based on your relationship with them, the relationship that you have for years and months and so on and so on. But also, if you wanted to enter into some kind of deeper relationship with them in terms of over a period of time, you might want to offer, like, say, for 6 months, a 6-month period, some service, some chicken or lamb or beef or goat is sold at a specific price. And then for a specific month, it's sold at a cheaper price, or instead of decreasing your price, you add on something for them. Maybe you do that once every 6 months. Maybe you do it once every 3 months, so that it's almost a value add and you give them extra. Let me know if that answered your question. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how can poor employee satisfaction at the workplace affect customer service? Ooh, it can affect it in 10 out of 10. So like we talked about, a happy employee is gonna leave your customers happy, because that employee is just happy to be at work. And now I'm not saying, let's be realistic, employees are not going to be happy every day, honky-dory every time to come to work. Sometimes you have a bad day just personally, but that doesn't have anything necessarily to do with your business, right? So 100% an unhappy employee is going to affect your customers, because their unhappiness will be passed on to them, and customers these days can see right through those types of situations. So what you might need to do is have a one-on-one with that employee, but also you might want to look at if it's not just that employee, and if it's not just that employee, then you may have a larger issue that you might need to address. And those things can be addressed with team building and team sessions and that type of thing. So don't feel as though all is lost. And if you feel as though there's value in that employee or in those employees, then invest in them. Shanice, what are ways that business owners can assess their strategy? I'm asking because people sometimes are very biased and tend to think that they are doing enough. Well, I'm assuming you mean overall business strategy, or I'm not sure if you mean the customer service strategy, but I'll speak to just the overall business strategy. assessing strategy is, I don't want to say that there's a rule to it. You, of course, have to first start with your objectives. What were your objectives when you began whatever it is you began? If it's your company from year 1 to year 3, what was your main objective when you first started? Maybe that objective has changed. Maybe it has grown. Maybe it has decreased. So it really is looking at your business. I'm assuming it's your personal business, Shanice, I'm not sure. But it's really taking a step back and looking at your business, looking at what you have achieved or accomplished in terms of what you first set out to do. Because of course, within a business plan and all of that, you would have identified and indicated what your aims were, what your objectives were, what your mission is, what your vision is. And it is always a good practice to review those things, whether annually, biannually, every 3 years, or so on. I hope that that answered the question. Melanie asks, do you personally think customer service should be taught from an early age, school-based? Personally, yes. My first love, as I told you guys earlier, was customer service. And because of that, I decided to go to TTHDI. I saw somebody mention Hotel School in Tobago having the customer service training. I decided to go to TTHDI in Trinidad, the Chaguaramas campus, to pursue tourism management, because in my mind, that was the place where you could do customer service. Tourism is, the main area where customer service reigns, in a sense, right? But what I quickly realized is that the mindset of, for instance, say my classmates at the time was not the same as mine, because I feel like I'm a little bit special in terms of really, really gung-ho about this whole customer service thing, right? And I believe that is simply because they were not taught that from a young age. In countries like Barbados and so on, they teach children, there are modules in school about service. So why are we not doing it here in TNT? And we have the answers for that. It's just because we are not as dependent on tourism as other places, other islands, other countries. But I do believe, yes, Melanie, that it should be something that is taught from school early. How to deliver exceptional service to an irate or difficult customer. So an irate or difficult customer is, first of all, Beverly, look at that customer as an opportunity, right? Look at that customer as you have an opportunity to convert someone into an advocate for your brand, right? So don't give up on them. Don't yourself become irate or frustrated. Now, these are all words and it might be easier said than done. But at the end of the day, this is for the betterment of your business. So always keep that in the back of your mind. And in addition to that, what you need to do is try to diffuse the customer, right? So try to get to the message, get to the heart of the message, get to what they're actually trying to say to you. They may be saying a lot of other things and there's a lot of noise around what they're saying because they're quarreling about this and that and But at the heart of the message, what is really, or what was truly the problem that they had, and what are the ways that you can help to solve it. So basically just try to pinpoint what that message is. Try to ignore the noise, which is them maybe quarreling, going on and on about many different things. Stick with them yourself. Do not get irate yourself. stick with them and try to understand the message that they're trying to tell you. Try to understand, diffuse, decipher what it is they're really telling you is their problem, and then very quickly come up with your solutions. And if you can't quickly come up with the solution, let them know, and let them know that you are going to treat the situation as a priority, and you're going to get back to them as soon as you possibly can with a response that you hope would be they would be happy with. Dana Butts. So Dana, we spoke all evening about delivery of excellent customer service, and I'll just run through the points again, but just know that the presentation is going to be available for you guys, so you'd be able to have a look at it. Yeah. So the fundamentals that we talked about, we spoke about 11 fundamentals of excellent service, and those would be: one, to begin with the end in mind, and the end is having a satisfied customer who then becomes a repeat customer, who then becomes a loyal customer, who then becomes an advocate for your company, and in their advocacy encourages others to try your products or services, right? So that is your end, and you want to begin with that always in mind. And Elena is saying that the recording of all the modules will be available on ECU platform, so you'll be able to get it there. All right, Renee, you're welcome. Set customer service standards, which means ensure that if you are the sole person operating at the moment, or if you have employees, ensure that they are aware of your expectations as it relates to delivery of your products and services, but also ensure that your customers are aware of your service policy and what you and your business is willing to do for them. The third one is to know your customer, because that way you can tailor your services and products to them. The fourth one is to deliver service where and when your customer needs it. Basically, meeting your customers where they are. If they are on Instagram, meet them on Instagram, deliver your customer service through Instagram direct message. If they're on Facebook, do the same, etc. The fifth is to solve the problem quickly, and I gave the example of the breeder, the hair breeder, and the one that she took a while to respond, and so because the other girl was quick, I went with her. So solve the problem quickly, communicate, let them know that you are aware of, if it's a problem, if there is a problem, let them know that you're aware of it, that you've received their message and that you're working on it. If it is you don't have an immediate answer for them. Invest in training yourself, invest in training your staff, because I'm going to repeat this, there is no way that the quality of customer service can exceed the quality of the people who provide it. So invest in training. Make your employees your first customer, because your employees, and we just talked about that a little bit again, your employees emanate what the whole aura and the whole energy of your business. And if their energies are low, if they are not happy, if they are unhappy and discontent, and it's going to translate to the customer, and that customer is not going to leave either your storefront or even online. It's going to translate in the language that the employee uses. So make your employees your first customer and make sure that they are happy, because they are the ones that are going to make your customers happy. Number 10 is to create a customer loyalty program and to find something that might work for you. We talked a little bit before about, different types of customer service loyalty programs. So find one that will work for you, but create one and start it from early. If you've just started business, maybe try to start it now. If you're now going into business, start it one time, because carrying those customers forward with you, you are going to gain so much from it. Yeah, because we spoke about how trying to get a new customer is 5 to 25 times, you end up spending 5 to 25 times more than you would by just maintaining the customers that you do have. All right, and then the 11th fundamental for providing good customer service is to assess your customer's service regularly and to improve it as needed. So your customers are basically telling you what they like, what they don't like. Take it into consideration. You might find trends, you might see trends, and then address them and ensure that your customers know that they are being addressed. Yeah. Akeem, what is the cutoff point for how far you go for a customer to not cross over in the boundaries of servitude? Can you give examples to highlight the difference? Okay. Well, servitude in itself is a perspective and a perception and a mental thought pattern, right? So service in itself is being happy and willing and understanding that the aim of customer service is really to serve, to be of service, to be of help, to want to be of help, to want to do it, right? Servitude, on the other hand, is where mentally you have this perception that you don't have a choice. We always have choice, right? We literally always have choice. So when you are reaching a space where you feel as though you don't have a choice and you have to do something, then maybe that is where you might need to start to question yourself, right? How far do you go, or what should be the cutoff point, quote unquote? It depends. It depends on you. It depends on your business. It depends on the nature of your business. It depends on the issue, the problem. If it's a problem, it depends on how far you are willing to go for your customers. It depends on your boundaries. It depends on a lot of things. So, for instance, I had a situation where I, as you would have seen, I work with lots of entertainment companies, and I work with two mass bands actually in particular, right? And a customer contacted us on Instagram. This was Carnival 2020. The customer contacted us on Instagram, and they had left. It was a male masquerader. He had left his cape. The cape was an add-on for his costume, right? He left the cape at our distribution center. He messaged us on Carnival Monday, because perhaps maybe he had gotten home and he realized he didn't have it. This is me assuming that this is what happened, right? And I control the social media. I could have looked at the message and I could have said, what? Because of course I myself was out on the road on Carnival Monday too, right? So my feet hurting, I am tired. I need to get rest for Carnival Tuesday, because we know Carnival Tuesday starts way earlier than Monday, makeup, hair, etc., right? But I went to the distribution center. I opened it up. I told the customer to meet me at a specific time. I opened up the distribution center. I got the cape for him. And simply the gratitude that he expressed was enough for me, having sacrificed a 1 or 2 extra hours of sleep ahead of Carnival Tuesday. So as I said, it really depends on what you are willing to do, how far you are willing to go, to ensure that your customers feel like your service is exceptional. Yeah, I hope that answered the question, Akim. Any other questions, guys? Are we okay? Was the session informative? Did you get some value from it? Do you hope, or will you, or do you intend to implement some of the tips? Okay, that's good to hear, Shanice. More than welcome, Deborah. That's really good to hear. Well, Joylance, remember I was saying that the customer is king/queen. So what we always want to try to do, especially if it's a situation where the customer is having an issue and they're not happy and they're irate and it's getting loud and it's getting a little bit out of control, whether it's in face-to-face, whether it's on the phone, whether if it's even on Instagram and so on. The main objective, your North Star, your guiding light, the whole purpose, what you are trying to achieve, or what you should always be trying to achieve, is that first-time customer to repeat customer to loyal customer to advocate. And if you keep that in the back of your mind always, you will find the way to manage that customer. As I said before, always think about diffusing the situation, but getting to the roots of the problem, getting to what that main message is. Ignore the noise out here of them quarreling, maybe cursing, maybe, saying many different things, or just, just being unfriendly and unpleasant, and get to that message. What is at the core of the problem that they're having? And only you would know how to solve that problem. And if you can't solve it immediately, you let them know. And you let them know that you're working on it, as you're working on a response for them as a matter of urgency. Okay, Jamal, I think that might be it.
Yes, yes. Wow. Let's just take a second to just let all that information just marinate in our minds a little bit. Wow, Ms. Kirton, hats off to you. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the Entrepreneurial Bootcamp series brought to you by Eastern Credit Union, specifically designed for you, our Tobago members. I hope that all would have really enjoyed these sessions and grasped all the techniques and concepts shared by our very experienced facilitators. Special thanks goes out to Mr. Karen Rose, who would have kicked things off for us on March 1st with the ICT Entrepreneurship and E-Commerce for You. Mr. Kevin Valley and his team, I see Kevin is on the platform here with us. Special good evening and thank you. His team would have spoken on building an investable business during the pandemic. Dr. Terry Kirill Reed with the Social Media Marketing Bootcamp. And of course, today, Miss Kimberly Kirton, who took us to church on the topic of customer service. Thank you all so much for your time and your expertise. Special thanks also goes out to Mr. Stefan Kitson, our Business Development Manager across in Tobago, and Mrs. Joylance Chapman George, who is our Tobago Branch Manager, for their tireless efforts and commitment to the success of this program. And last but by no means least, Ms. Lena Dyer and her team for working diligently in the background, making sure everything runs smoothly and providing us with this platform to have such a wonderful program. Thank you so very much. As always, we here at Eastern Credit Union would like to encourage you all to continue to be safe. Please wear your masks, sanitize as often as possible, and continue following all the guidelines as provided by the Ministry of Health. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great evening. Goodbye.